other good joints. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And as you can see, I'm about a half an hour late. And that's because I forgot well, I didn't forget, but they switched the playoff games for the Steelers. You know I'm a Steelers fan. To Monday. Yeah, because of a snowstorm, apparently. And yeah, for a second, I had a little hope that we might win. So I said, you know what? Hopefully the people will forgive me for being a couple minutes late. Unfortunately, we're down about 2 minutes and it doesn't look like any hope. So I said, let me go ahead and not keep the people waiting any longer and get the party started because we got some stuff to cover. Now, if you would be so kind as to first let me know that you can hear me. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1, 2, check one, check 2, 3, 4, 5, and all those other good ones. So if you can hear me, let me know. And that is without, of course, the popping. Yeah. Somebody said, thought you weren't going to make it tonight for a sec. Yeah. One, I didn't know how many people was going to be out for the holidays. Then two, playoffs and stuff. But we got some real hardcore cats who's willing to stick in there and say, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to watch the show anyway. Maybe even watch the show and the game at the same time. But I don't have that luxury. So I had to choose. And considering we're about to lose, it was like, it is what it is. I'm just happy we made it to the playoffs, honestly, because, it's been a raggedy year. But they better fix this mess next year. Now, with no further ado, you know what time it is, man. It's time to get busy. And I got to get loose before we do any of that. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Yes, man. Now, before we get into all of this, make sure you text MAGA to this number if you haven't already, 330-974-4607. And don't forget, we got Kevin's Corner store, y'all. We got some new stuff in the store, like cups and stuff. Check that out right there. You see that person with the Gorilla Clan hanging out, got Gizmo on the shirt with the shades on, making sense out of nonsense. In Kevin's Corner, we got all kind of stuff, keychains, Trump 47, 2024 Ultra MAGA. Get yourself a keychain if you want to. Oh man, look at this. We got shirts like this. Sleepy, creepy, sloppy Joe has to go. Now that one right there is worth a purchase. Sloppy Joe, got to go. So please do that. And don't forget to, some of you all have chosen to help out with the channel by donating to my monthly fundraiser. And the link is below this video. And I truly, truly appreciate that, y'all, because it's very, very tight when it comes down to how YouTube is allowing conservative channels to profit off of just their labor. See, they trying to stack the deck. They don't want the best man to win. That's what it is. They want to fix the fight. And so I got to do little things like, have monthly fundraisers. I don't even like doing it. I don't like taking offerings and stuff during my show. Speaking of which, y'all saw my title. Fat Fanny done went to somebody's church and they done let her go up there and preach a sermon, y'all. Preach a sermon about herself. But before we get into Fat Fanny preaching in somebody's church, let's go ahead and start it off with some other stuff that's going on around the United States. Like, for example, the White House senior living. Did y'all know that? Y'all know the White House now offers, senior living and stuff like that. So let's check it out.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian food, basically.
And ice cream.
And chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Oh, boy, what a great ad. That is perfect. And tell me, if you didn't know that Joe Biden was a president, that would be perfect. Because you will go, yeah, that person right there looks just like he should be in senior living. Yeah. And did you hear whoever put this together? The last line. I love it. Check it out.
And ice cream. Chocolate chip ice cream.
Chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Where residents feel like presidents. That is beautifully said. Because that's exactly what it is. We got us a senior citizen person who should be in somebody's elderly home that is pretending to be president. Yeah. Hey, you're going to make me president again, right? That's what it is, man. And it's sad to say that because if anybody watches that clip, they would think that is a real ad for senior living based on the clips and the footage of Joe Biden in that clip. That's how bad this dude is, man. Yeah, you can't argue that. And guess what? It gets worse. Look at this.
This is Morgan Sherwin.
Oh!
And Sam.
Did you just see that? Joe showed up at some joint, and the person who is supposed to be, I guess, facilitating this, I don't know where Secret Service is. Why does this man feel like he can put the kickstand down on Joe Biden? Did you see Joe almost go running over there? Like, what? Should I go over and attack it? Whatever it is you're showing me. Look at this, guys. Now you tell me, does this not look like somebody that is, taking care of an elderly person? Watch this behavior. This is unbelievable. Hold on, let me see something here. I just noticed something. Let me go back a little bit so y'all can see the whole. Yeah, watch this mess. I can't even believe this. Look. You see him get in the hand? You see him stiff arm Joe? Joe's walking off like he done saw some kid, some hair perhaps, I don't know. But this guy, for whatever reason, feels like he can do that. Now, I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen. Normally, if a president shows up and this guy works at this facility, you don't put your hands on the president like that. Somebody must have told this guy before this even started, look, he's a little, now if he decides to start going somewhere where he shouldn't go, we need you to grab him and stop him from doing that. This little clip says it all. That man should not be president right now at all. And that's excluding all of the corruption. That's excluding. So look at Joe's face. Yeah, whatever he's looking at, he is fixated on. Like, what? Is that a bicycle helmet that I need to be wearing 24/7 because I'm special?
Sherwin and
look. What do I do? What?
So Rudy, there are our team members here. They help us.
Come over to me.
They help us, service and sales.
Wow.
Good to see you.
Look at this. Look at these.
I do. I'm sorry.
No awareness, no spatial awareness. Little girl sitting there. Yeah. Now, I don't know if Joe is really intrigued by whatever he claims he's looking at, or is he trying to get a whiff, a little sniff of whiff? See, yeah, no, don't move. In fact, lean back, come a little closer. I can barely smell it. Right there, little girl. Little girl probably is like, why is he this close? Why is he all up in my? This is, and he's not even aware of it. Not even aware of it. Totally in his own world. And this goes to show he's compromised mentally. His social skills and social awareness is destroyed. And you wonder why folks are questioning this man's ability as he runs again for president. Do you really think he's going to make it another 4? Now, this guy might not make it another 4 weeks. Look at this.
Yes.
Yes. Look.
And the last thing is, one of the things that's going to have an impact is, and I know it doesn't matter to you guys, so I'm being facetious, I shouldn't be kidding like that. But when you want to call and check the balance on your account, you get charged $30.
$30? What kind of bank are you using? I mean, you got to be, man, if I called up, hello? Bank? Yes, this is Kevin. I want to check my balance. Okay, just push 3 for your balance, but there will be a $30 surcharge. Well, that's more than I have in my bank account. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be in a negative just for checking my balance. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? This man just straight up said $30 to check your balance. What banks is doing this?
Is that fair? Is that fair?
Is that true?
These junk fees? You're going to go home for Easter. You're going to go home for Christmas. You're going to go home for the holiday.
And you should go home forever, Joe. Forever and ever and ever. That man just said you're going to get hit for $30 just by calling and checking, even though you probably wouldn't be doing that in this day and age. You probably would just be going online. But nonetheless, Joe probably doesn't know that. He's like, look, when you send a carrier pigeon to fly over to your bank to check your bank account, you're going to get charged for $30 gazillion trillion. Yeah, when you pick up a cup with a string connected to it, and then you dial the operator, that guy right there, Yeah, the one that said, you know, have your kids watch the television and listen to the radio and the record player.
With your kid. And you find out to get your kid sitting next to you is going to cost another $200. These are junk fees. And guess what?
Guess what? You're a junk president. 100% junk president. Should not be in that office at all.
Get rid of them.
Look at this. Look. He's sharp, isn't he, y'all? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Joe has no idea what's going on, where he's at. I mean, this is one of the most embarrassing things. I mean, I was watching this, putting this together, and I'm like, he looks awful. Just awful. Everything he does, everywhere he goes. I mean, it's just so very obvious and clear that this man should be sitting down on a porch somewhere with some shorts on, some black high top dress socks with tennis shoes. You know, older people, when you get that old, you're not trying to match. You're not trying to match. You just put your little fisherman hat on. Get your little polo shirt, some khaki shorts, go with the tight dress socks. And then at the bottom, you got either some slippers or some tennis shoes. And just sitting on the porch rocking. Hey, Jill, go get me some more chocolate chip. And somebody to sniff. So that's what he should be doing. But hey, nope, here's this guy out here saying things like this.
You got the best economy of any economy in the world right now.
Is that true?
That literally is true.
Literally.
So people turn on the television. Okay. And what do you hear? What? Everything's negative.
Everything's negative, says the guy who just got up there and gave a speech about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when the new year started, talking about ultra MAGA, Trump's a racist, white nationalism, these MAGA folks. Everything's negative. Now, this guy is trying to say that everything is negative because his record is so horrible that people are saying that his policies and his results of his presidency suck so badly. They're not paying attention to the fake news. A lot of the people you see them interviewing on the streets and polling, they say the economy's bad, they're discouraged, inflation's high, all of these things. You know, here's my question. If they're watching the news, they would be hearing the opposite. They would be hearing stuff like we're about to hear in a few seconds because, see, the media uses propaganda to cover for this guy. And he got the nerve to come out here and say, everything they're hearing is negative. Everything they're hearing. For them to come out and start admitting that things suck. It's somebody said I'm buffering. I look good over here. If I'm buffering, let me know. If it's just one person, then they got to refresh. But yeah, so for people to start saying that Biden voters, for them to be saying things are negative, that means they got to be experiencing the negativity, not looking for the negativity from the news, because the news is never going to give it to them raw. They're going to all the time sugarcoat it for Joe. But this is how the Democrats roll. When their record is in question, then it becomes that the press is against me. Now, we all know that's a lie. They're the ones that helped this man get elected. They're the ones that covered for all of these clips that we saw him getting stopped and guided around on stage and people, the Easter Bunny shuffling him off. They're the ones that protected him from all of this. But here he is. Everything's negative, so we better check his work.
Even the good stuff ends up negative. America is back.
When you look at inflation, when we look at where we are economically, and we are in a strong, we are stronger economically than we have been in history.
According to what I'm observing, the economy is booming. Yeah. Inflation is down. The stock market is doing well. People are having an easier time putting bread on the table, etc.
Yeah, there you go. According to the Black Gay Drop and Toucan saying no's, everything's great. It's hunky dory. People, for some reason, are delusional about what's going on in their own lives. There it is. They can't truly assess the impact of the Biden administration and their choices. It's all because these people are hearing negative news results versus negative prices results. Like, man, I mean, and I don't mean negative mean low. I mean, it's negative because it makes you feel like that. Like, man, this isn't a positive. This is a negative. When I look at eggs and it's up this much. When I look at gas, it's up that much. That's not positive. It's negative. But here's Joe. telling us how Bidenomics is working.
Largest reduction in childhood poverty ever recorded in a single year. And the strongest economic growth this country has seen in nearly 40 years.
Oh.
Historic economic progress.
Historic?
Bidenomics is working.
What?
I'm so proud of this president. Putin is trying to bait the trap.
That's right. That's what you get, Nasty. That's what you get. You hear all of these surrogates coming out there trying to lie for Biden. Talking about some. Let's see. Wait, let's hear it. I love it. That cat right there. The cat with the smack.
Progress.
Bidenomics is working. I'm so proud of this president. Putin is trying to bait the trap.
So we shouldn't take any advice from Nancy Pelosi when she had the nerve to come out and tell us that the reason that gas prices were so high is because Putin is trying to bait the trap. There you go.
That we were in the majority working with him, he broke all records.
Here we go.
Our poll this morning has Biden's approval rating at 33%.
Oh.
That's historically low for him, low for an incumbent president in 15 years. Since we've seen numbers that low.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Of course. Of course. There you go. You tell him, Payne. Of course. That's right, y'all. Oh, you think fake news is your ally? Yeah, man. Biden's trying to hide behind all the fake news. Let's continue.
33%. That's historically low for him, low for an incumbent president in 15 years. Since we've seen numbers that low, that's Bidenomics.
It sure is. That's Bidenomics indeed. Indeed. Let's continue.
And on the economy, it's even actually worse. Only 31% say that they approve of Biden's handling of the economy.
Well, wait. Why are all these people getting these mixed signals, man? Well, it's kind of like what the Democrats do all the time, where they will allow things that are right in your face to hit you. And then what they'll do is tell you what you're looking at is not what it is. It's not what it is. Hey, Brett, I want to be clear. These are mostly peaceful protesters as things are burning in the background. There's no invasion. The border is completely under control with you seeing a sea of people. No spaces. That's how many people. There's so many people that was coming in one scene. I said, there's no space. I can't even see the sidewalk. Nothing. All I saw was a sea of people. It looked like carpet. Full-blown carpet. Just thought I could start walking across the top of their heads. Would have mistaken them for carpet, lawn, something like that. And they're telling us the border security is out there, but there's not an invasion. That what you're seeing here is, see, they do this constantly. They will tell you things, and you're saying, you're telling me this, but I'm not seeing this in my real everyday life. Yeah, it's the unvaxxed that are killing everybody. You got to shut down everything, but yet I'm not seeing bodies in the streets. Stuff like that. Constantly coming out there telling you things are white nationalism is the greatest threat to the homeland. And I can't find a white nationalist anywhere. Can't find one anywhere. Don't know where they meet. Nothing. But they'll tell you these things. So once again, the economy's great. Everything's booming. And yet the people are going, Now I might have fell for the white nationalist trick. Might have fell for the COVID trick. But my pockets don't lie. My bank account don't lie.
Go ahead and clap.
Aside from the issues and where people think the economy is, you have the question of the president's age. I mean, it's just there.
Oh, bad buddy. Dum, 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 dum. Bad buddy. You see Bad Body over there? You see that guy right there? Made of sausages. Here he is up there with the hat to the back. Shouldn't be on vacation anyway. Should be trying to fix this raggedy economy. So here we go. Now they're questioning his noodles.
Poll after poll, not just ours. Our poll, in fact, said 28%, just 28% think that President Biden has the mental sharpness to effectively serve for another term.
Who are those 28%? Oh, wait. Joy Behar. Let me see. Whoopi Goldberg, maybe. Let's be honest. The Democrat Party don't believe it. Yeah, we found that out earlier when Nancy Pelosi got caught on that hot mic. And they said, he said, what do you want me to do, Nance? And you heard her go, Am I on? Can you hear this? No? Oh, well, no, we don't want him to speak. Now, that was in the beginning of his presidency. So you already know by now, it's even worse. They probably are saying, we don't even trust his mentality. If we could swap this dude out right now, we would. But we can't. Somebody said I'm fuzzy. Try refreshing. First step, guys, if you start seeing me either glitch, be fuzzy or whatever, try to refresh first. That might cure it. Now, if it's everybody saying it, then I'll just say, well, I got to do something. But yeah, man. So all of his folks that claims Joe Biden is the smartest guy in the room, he's intelligent, he's sharp as a tack, they're lying. And we're about to find out why they're lying in a few seconds, guys, before we get to Fat Fanny. So let's continue.
Hush up, boy.
Hush up, boy. So thank God the adults are back in charge, y'all. Because remember, they said when Trump was in office, everything was chaotic. The White House was ran like the romper room and all of that stuff. Yeah, man. So let's see how things are looking now that the adults are back in charge. Starting with this guy.
Jake was informed, our national security advisor was informed that Secretary Austin was in the hospital and had been for some time.
So you hear Kermit the Frog? You hear Kermit the Frog now have to come out there and try to explain why Secretary Austin was in the hospital and went into surgery and nobody in the White House knew about it. Nobody knew about that. I'm pretty sure that guy has a pretty important position. But my question is, why didn't anybody know about it? Because see, remember, the adults are back in charge with transgenders running around with their shirts off in the White House and folks stealing women's luggage and things like that. People like that, people doing it in the Capitol. You know what I'm saying? The adults, they're handling things. Cocaine in the White House, stuff like that. Major, the German Shepherd, running around biting everybody. The adults are back. They're in charge. So let's see John Kirby, a.k.a. Kermit the Frog here, try to explain to us why nobody knew Austin was in the hospital.
Found out late Thursday afternoon, and he and the chief of staff, Mr. Zients, informed the president later that evening, early that evening, not long after they learned. They informed the president directly.
Walter Reed said that he was diagnosed with a cancer last month, so just to confirm, the president did not know the diagnosis or that he was hospitalized? No, he did. He was informed, the president was informed, as the Admiral just stated, the president was informed today about the prostate cancer.
Today? But he was diagnosed last month? Well, see, I think I'm figuring out what's going on here. See, these press people aren't asking the right questions. Could it be that Austin knows that it wouldn't matter one way or another if he told Joe Biden? Could it be that he knows that Joe Biden is completely useless and really Joe Biden will probably forget the day that he tells him? Could it be that he doesn't respect Joe Biden as the leader along with all the rest of them who knows Joe Biden is not running the White House? As we see people who are supposed to be regular tour guide people putting their hands on the president and stopping him from rushing over to do whatever it is that his mind said, go over and do that. See, could it be that? See, so here's a little parody right here that somebody put together. Don't walk, run. He put together a little something to really illustrate what probably went on.
President, I'm calling you from a bed at Walter Reed Medical Center.
I was in the Walter Reed, years ago, not a joke. Doctors allow you to live. Nurses make you want to live. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
Mr. President, the reason I'm here is
my son Bo was there when he had cancer. But you wouldn't know anything about cancer, huh, pal?
There you go. That's probably exactly how it went. So even if he would have called him, it would have been all about Joe, the whole conversation. What, cancer? I got cancer when I was back in my hometown, and there was oil slicks all on the front of the windshield. And then, all of us ended up with cancer. Not a joke. And speaking of cancer, I got cancer right now. And wait, no, is that now or was that before? Anyway, cancer. Yeah, Bo. Bo. It would have been something like that. Then afterwards, he'd have probably been like, who was I speaking to? So let's continue hearing Kermit the Frog try to run cover Here we go.
We learned also today that Secretary Austin, when he went into the hospital for the first time on December 22nd, he knew he was going to be under general anesthesia. He knew he was going to be spending the night, and transferred authority to his deputy secretary. Was the White House informed then that the authority was going to be transferred? No.
Now, I want to put this in context for you guys so you can see how asinine this is right here. Okay. Now, the White House should be running professionally. Okay. You hire or you nominate or whatever these people under you as the president. All right. You're their boss. It's under the executive branch. So that's like the owner of a school that I once was the principal of. So one day I find out Kev got to go and get a surgery. I don't tell the owner of the school. I just go ahead and say, hey, vice principal, you now are in charge of the school. I'm going to be down indefinitely. Don't know how long. Okay. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, or even a month or so later, then the owner finds out that Kev's in the hospital. What? From what? Oh, he didn't tell you? Now, if you're the owner of that school and the next person in charge that you've invested in such an important position just decides not to even tell you that I'm out. One, are they paying for me to be out? Is there sick leave? Did I take time off? All of these questions would be going through the owner's mind. You just decided to go ahead into the hospital for God knows how long. You might have kicked a bucket in there. You didn't give us a chance to replace you, figure out what we're going to do, a contingency, but nothing. That means I don't respect the leadership. I don't respect the owner. I think either the owner's incompetent or I think I could get away with whatever I want to get away with because I don't respect their leadership. That's why Austin didn't tell them. Because see, if I'm creepy and I'm in my right mind, I'm mad. I'm going, he did what? This dude should have told me something. But yet here comes Kermit the Frog going to explain that mess.
The president believes and has since the beginning of the administration that transparency with the American people
transparency
is really important. And he knows, being a public figure for his entire life, that as a public figure,
you got to lie.
You have an added burden to be as transparent about your personal situation as possible.
Well, Joe's not at all, because he refuses to come out and explain why he and his family has been getting millions and millions of dollars from all these different countries. All he got to do to set the record straight is come out and say, look, the money and all of this stuff came from this, and that. Sick of you guys asking me. I'm going to go ahead and clear this up, but he doesn't. He won't do that. Yeah, but he always talks about transparency. Yeah, Trump and his kids, they should all, and you know what, Trump and his kids and his family making all the money and stuff like that. So he's not transparent. So now Austin, on one side, says that Biden believes in transparency, but then...
Does he believe that Secretary Austin should have been able to keep this specific detail private?
I'm not going to get inside the president's head on that particular right to privacy on this particular issue.
Well, you just did. You just said that Biden believes in transparency and it's important with a public figure and all this stuff. So shouldn't that be consistent? Shouldn't Biden be going, yeah, Austin should have been transparent. But this is what happens, though, when you hire diversity hires and stuff like that. When you bring in folks that you know are willing to be activists and implement all kind of stupid policies and things like that. Now, all of a sudden, you create folks that are rogue because they're going, you hired me to do dirt. So I don't want to hear you trying to crack the whip now. I don't want to hear you trying to tighten it all up. You hired me to be pretty much your own muscle to go ahead and implement all the stupidity that we've been watching for the last 3.5 years. So now, don't you come trying to put the smack down or even badmouth me. Don't even badmouth me. You better make it seem like what I did was okay somehow. Don't go too hard on me, okay? You surely wouldn't want to come across attacking a black man that y'all praise so much because he was black. So now, let's hear how they try to cover up for Austin.
Obviously, his first and foremost concern is the secretary's health and recovery and making sure that he has the time and the space and gets the medical care that he needs.
We have said this many times, is that Secretary Austin put out a statement taking full responsibility
There you go.
of what has unfolded over the last couple of days, and the president appreciates that.
Now, how you like this? As a form of discipline, y'all, because we know nobody in the Biden administration, one, takes responsibility unless they really get busted and it's hard for them to explain. But two, that's the way to write off their behavior and not punish them. By simply saying, well, we're happy that he took responsibility. What does that even mean? That is the easiest way to get off the hook. I mean, heck, let Kev go ahead, break a couple laws. Get caught doing donuts on the middle of the freeway. Then burn out, doing about 110, weaving in and out of traffic. Yeah, man. Jump out the car while the cops chasing me. Run into the 7-Eleven. Grab a couple Red Bulls to keep my energy level up. Jump back in the car without paying and take off. When I get caught and I show up in court, Your Honor, I take full responsibility for my actions. There you go, son. You learned a lesson. See? Right there, guys. I mean, there's something to be said about him taking full responsibility, isn't it? All right. Get on out of here, you crazy kid, but don't do it again. There you go. No consequences. I took full responsibility, meaning what?
One of the things that's so important, and we don't see this enough in today's
Especially
world,
from the Bible.
is for someone to take responsibility. Yeah. So someone to actually say, I made a mistake and I take full responsibility. And I think that's important here.
Do you see this? This is the most raggedy ever administration. Ever. Now, I would, even say if I was to go back through all the administrations before I even was interested in politics and just start rewatching all of this stuff, I'm guaranteeing that I would never find another administration that operates this raggedy. So now, here this woman comes out and she tries to soften the criticism by simply saying, hey, he took responsibility. She's not saying what that means. There's no consequences. They're proud of this guy simply because he took responsibility. So instead of being upset and feeling disrespected, now all of a sudden it gets turned into pride. We're proud of him because he took responsibility.
It respects that he took full responsibility for it in his statement.
So how many people in the think tank and the PR group decided, all right, here's how we're going to spin this. He took full responsibility. That's what we're going to do. That's the narrative we're going out with. He took full responsibility. So now they're going to try to go ahead and make it seem like, look, the White House is running professionally. We do have the adults back in charge simply because that man acknowledged that he did something wrong, and we acknowledged that he took full responsibility.
That makes a difference.
Secretary Austin put out a statement, and
They
he
feel
took
stupid
full
saying this, too.
responsibility for this.
He takes full responsibility for the decisions he made with respect to this procedure. He takes full responsibility.
I'm going to speak to the action of taking responsibility here.
You hear this? I'm going to speak to the action of taking full responsibility here. You hear it? They are drilling it home. So that's the word of the week. Full responsibility. Full responsibility. Full responsibility. Don't ask me again about this. Full responsibility. Now, this is ridiculous, man. Now, do you think they would be so kind to Trump if somebody in his administration did this? Oh, well, what do you mean full responsibility? What kind of mess is that? You know what? It shows that this White House is chaotic. And these folks got the nerve to come out here and spin this by just simply saying full responsibility and think that the American viewer, if they are a bubblehead now, would probably go, well, there you have it. But any rational thinking American will listen to this and go, that is the biggest bunch of garbage. And y'all trying to make me say, well, you know what? Matter solved. That man took full responsibility.
I think that's important.
The Secretary of Defense himself took full responsibility in his statement over the weekend. He had put it on his shoulders.
So, Secretary?
Meaning what? Is he going to spank himself? There you go. I got a son, 12 years old or so, and then he just says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead while dad's sleeping and steal the car. Go for a joyride, wrecks it, comes home, police standing there, sir, we found your son. He wrecked the car about 3 miles down the road. There you go. Shoves him in the house, and he says, Dad, I take full responsibility. Does that Does that exclude you from getting the hammer? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Well, thank you, son, for accepting full responsibility. Go up and get yourself some shut-eye. We'll go down and pick the car up out of the pound in the morning, okay? All right, you crazy kid, always into mischief. Do I expect my son to go ahead and say, Dad, give me the belt. I'll handle it. Like, oh, Yeller? No, I take full responsibility, Pa. I'll do it. Or do I whip that mug out like some type of superhero? Dun, 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 and go to work. So now all of a sudden, just saying I take full responsibility means what? I mean, I don't understand what that means. Look, he took it himself. Unreal.
Took full responsibility. I think that is important to note.
Yeah, root word fool. Fool. You guys sound like fools. Up here pushing this narrative for full responsibility. I think that helps. How?
We appreciate that he's taken full responsibility, and he's taken responsibility, and I think that's important here as well.
Does the president believe that there ought to be any consequences or any of the officials who knew about the condition of Secretary Austin but did not report that information?
That's going to be up to Pentagon leadership to decide.
Wait a minute, up to the Pentagon leadership, but wait a minute, Joe. I thought that the president was the leader. Yeah, see, that is exactly why Austin didn't call and tell Biden. What difference would it have made? Biden's not making the choices anyway. If something seriously happened, you think Biden is going to really be like, hey, Lloyd, we got a situation in Yemen, and I think that we should. Nobody's going to consult with this dude about any of this stuff anyway. So that man is like, why would I call Biden? Somehow it got out that Biden didn't know, and now they're trying to cover this mess up. But they all know that it wouldn't have made a difference one way or another if Biden would have known or not. He is an irrelevant chess piece right now. That man's a pawn. That man is a piece that you can just sacrifice. I'm going to lose this piece right here. It's just a pawn. That's all he is. That's why there was no concern to inform Biden about this. So now he's asking, is Biden going to punish him? And this guy right here removes that. It's up to the Pentagon. I thought it was up to the president. Didn't you nominate this guy? It's unbelievable. But they leak this stuff out trying to answer the questions, but they're really telling us a lot more. When he says it's up to the Pentagon. You know what I hear when he says that? The president has no authority and no power, and his weigh-in means nothing. He's irrelevant. So I guess the Pentagon is going to punish the guy over the Pentagon.
Well, what does the president believe? I mean, he's the commander.
The president believes
he don't believe nothing.
Secretary Austin should get the appropriate care that he needs to get better so he can get back at work at the Pentagon. He believes we ought to learn from this.
We're going to learn from it. And then do what? Man, I need a press pass so I can light their butts up. So the president believes that Austin should get some help, get back so he can get back to work. So let me get it straight. The man disrespects you, takes time off, don't let anybody know, put somebody else in charge, gets busted, and your response is, let's get him back into the job, then get him back healthy. That's all we're worried about. Now, the adults are back in charge. You're the most raggedy adults ever. You're letting the kids run the house. You're that adult that says, now I want you to go upstairs and think about your behavior, even though you burned down the neighbor's house, okay? I want you to think about that. Well, can I go out and play tomorrow when I get up? Yes, you can. But tonight, you better sit there and think about it, okay? I'm not going to come up and monitor you or ask you any questions about if you're thinking about it, but you better think about it, you crazy kid. That's how they're rolling over there in the White House.
The commander-in-chief is President Biden. That at a time when American forces are under fire in the Middle East, he can go days without knowing that his defense secretary is in a hospital bed.
Well, that question right there sums it all up, Peter. You just answered your own question. What kind of commander-in-chief could do that? Well, one that goes, chocolate, chocolate, chip. The one that walks around like this and people got to stop him from going over to sniff people. The one that simply is over there reading stuff right on the back of a student that's looking uncomfortable, looking over her shoulder like, why is this guy all up in my business? See, that's the kind. The one that gets out there and makes speeches about when you call to check your balance, you get charged $30. Kinds like that. That's the kind of president it is. So do you think really that this dude is going to call up Austin for anything and weigh in, and Austin takes it seriously, Biden is irrelevant. Everybody knows it, except for maybe a few completely brainless voters of his. But everybody else knows it. And that's why his poll numbers suck right now. Here we go.
Why should we believe
Come on, Kermit.
anything that this administration tells us
We should.
about anything ever again?
Ever.
What happened here is the Secretary of Defense, for whatever reason, I can't answer the question why.
Because he disrespects Biden. Because he knows that Biden is irrelevant. Why don't you come out and be honest, Kermit? Okay? Yes, Miss Piggy. The reason is because he's irrelevant.
That information wasn't shared. It wasn't shared widely in the department, and it certainly wasn't shared with the agency.
No, it's not worse.
It's not good. It's certainly not good.
It's not good, but we're ready for him to get back on his job, right? It's not good, but all we're worried about is the fact that he took responsibility. He took responsibility, and we want him to get healthy, to get back on the job. And then he says we're going to learn from it. Learn what? What are we going to learn from it? First of all, how many times you expect something like this to happen? The next time somebody goes down with cancer, has to go in to get an operation without telling us, we'll know then. We'll know then. Unbelievable. So what are we learning from, huh?
Which is why, again, we want to learn from this. We want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And so,
because that could happen like multiple times. Y'all didn't know that? There you go. I'm expecting at least another 12 or 1,300 people to come out with the yappa. I'm also in the hospital. I didn't let you know. I'm over at the transportation. Unreal. But he's talking about we want to learn from it. So I should have asked, what did you learn? That would be my question. What did you? And watch Kermit try to fumble over that one. Well, what? We learned a lot. We learned that people get sick sometimes and have to go into the hospital, and they take responsibility.
He has done a really stellar job in that position. The president appreciates the job that he's done.
Really? What? I got the same question, Scoob. Huh? What? So, don't run, walk. Please give us a little update on Austin's record of doing a stellar job.
Like allowing a Chinese spy balloon to traverse the entire United States.
That was great.
His role in the chaotic withdrawal of our troops in Afghanistan, where 13 service members were killed in a terror attack. Or when the DOD claimed that we droned 2 high-profile ISIS-K targets.
And we really did what?
In reality, it was 10 civilians, including 7 children. And let's not forget the tens of billions of dollars in military equipment that we left behind to the Taliban.
Wow! Man, you know what, though? You know what, don't run, walk? That ain't that bad, man. That ain't that bad. It's piss poor. That is completely piss poor. And yet, they got out to talk about that. The president's proud of him. He did a stellar job, his record. And I'm going, that record is piss poor. Mucus's record is piss poor. You got Petite Pete, his record, piss poor. Kamala Harris' record, piss poor. I could go down the line of all the people in his cabinet. Piss poor. I can't think of one person in his cabinet that have done anything of any substance. One good thing. His whole complete cabinet is piss poor, starting with him. He's the pissiest of them all. The piss flows downward on the whole administration. They're rocking the essence of Iran by Biden. So now we're going to end with a little funny, but don't run, walk. I mean, don't walk, run.
These terrible headaches, was diagnosed with having anyway, they had to take the top of my head off a couple times, see if I had a brain. But all kidding aside.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. Yeah, because when they popped the top of his head off, there's nothing here. I don't see anything, thing. This is unbelievable. Because there's nothing in there. That's right, man. That man's brain slid out of his ears years ago. So now, guys, let's move on to the next part. Because, see, we got Trump. Yeah, see, because they said the adults were back in charge. Well, now we need an adult back in the White House like Trump. That's what we need. Now, see, this is a boss right here.
The whole thing is crazy. Look at what's happened in New York. New York is a disaster right now. And in all fairness, the mayor understands that. And he's saying that, but some don't speak up, some aren't speaking up. The whole concept of sanctuary cities I think it's going to fall of its own weight. I think the Democrats aren't going to be able to take it much longer. In some cities, Democrat mayors and governors are saying, we just can't do this anymore. And the truth is, it's not sustainable for this country, even from a cost standpoint. Billions and billions of dollars. People are coming in, and they're coming in from prisons, they're coming in from mental institutions, insane asylums. They're terrorists, they're drug dealers, they're pouring into our country totally unchecked. We have no idea who's coming in. They're coming in from many countries, all parts of the world. They're coming from Africa, they're coming from China, they're coming from all parts of Asia.
And I guess that the Biden administration don't know that. They don't know that. I mean, they don't even address that. They just get out there and you'll have mucus say, we are aware that this is a global issue. And I'm saying it's ironic. If it's a global issue, why are all these folks from different continents choosing to come straight to our southern border? Why aren't they just saying, you know what, I'm over here in Africa and whatever issue is causing me to have to leave Africa, maybe I should leave my country and go to the next country in Africa. But for some reason, they're saying, you know what country I think I'll flee to? The United States. I'll go ahead and pay to get on a plane, fly all the way to South America, not to the United States, South America, then just walk my butt right through the border after I pay the cartel some money. Why are they choosing to go through this process? See, these are the rational thinking questions that anybody should have. And if you're supposed to be over the border, you telling me there's these smart people can't figure that out? They're not stopping to say, what is it about us and our policies that are just making all these people from other continents fly here, not right into our country, not through the airport? No, that's too much red tape. It's too much red tape. Let's go through the process that we know is vulnerable because we've seen how this administration is running the border. You're telling me these so-called smart people can't figure out that their policies are benefiting the darn cartel? They can't figure that out? Just somehow they're like, you know what? We don't even pay attention to how all of the stuff we're doing is really benefiting the cartel and bringing all of these drugs across, and also potential terrorists and stuff like that. None of that is more important than us looking at these people like, hey, we don't want to turn anybody away because of humanitarian issues. Now we find out like 85% of these people that come to the border are being released into our interior. That's why mucus needs the foot up the butt. The whole Biden administration needs foot up butt. That's what they need. Foot up butt party. I mean, this is, I'm going to do, tomorrow we're going to be talking about that more in depth, but I'm trying to stay focused because I want to get to Fat Fani, okay? I want to get to her. But this burns me up, and Trump sees it. We all see it. But apparently these smart folks over there that's running the country don't see it. So let's keep doing the same thing as the numbers keep growing and growing every month. This is very discouraging. Every time I look at thousands and thousands of these people just coming, it burns me up because you know they're doing this on purpose, and they need the most severe punishment that they can receive.
A lot of people coming from Europe, a lot of people coming from Yemen. Okay, we're bombing right now. We have people from Yemen. We had 27,000 people coming in over the last few months from China, and they happen to be from the age of about 19 to 25.
Yeah, there you go. Because see, I was told that it was mostly women and children. That's what I was told. So we getting folks, see, and I know they was hoping that Trump would get up there and say something like, they're coming from nothing but black countries and Latino countries, and we don't like them. We don't like them coming because they're varmints. I'm sure they were hoping he would say that. But he mixed it up, say, hey, they coming from Europe, they coming from Yemen, they coming from China. See, yeah, so now they can't get out there and say, well, it's obvious. This is a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle. So now we know these people are coming from all over the place, including countries that don't like us very much. Oh, but you think the Biden administration cares? You think Joe Biden wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about this? Nope. He wakes up in the middle of the night going, chocolate, chocolate chip.
Fighting age, it's great, not women, all men. And it's a very, very sad thing happening to our country. Our country is being overtaken. We're being invaded. That's an invasion. Yeah. We had the strongest border. Now we have the weakest border. And
the weakest president. The weakest president, the dumbest president, the most corrupt president, and the list goes on. List goes on.
An invasion of our country, and Biden is grossly incompetent. The only thing they know how to do is cheat on elections. They're very good at cheating on elections, and they're very good at also going after your political opponent.
That is it.
But they can't do anything else. That's all they're good at. And
I love it. That is the truth. I mean, because I just got out there and said it a few minutes ago, y'all. I said, I can't think of one good thing that they have done since they've been in office. And prior, I'm sitting there going, man, these cats, the Democrats suck. They're the worst. They destroy everything. Their cities are raggedy. We're going to be listening, talking about that tomorrow too. Oh, we got to go back out to Oakland, see how bad things are going out there. They are the absolute worst. They're incompetent, and they take advantage of people who I'm saying, boy, you got to look at your state or your city like a business. I mean, and you got to look at yourself like the board. The voters got to look at like, okay, we need to vote in people who would do smart things to benefit us. Okay. But for some reason, they keep voting in these slick talking, raggedy behind globalists that do nothing but destroy things. And then come out and tell them it's everybody else's fault but them. So Trump got a message for them, y'all.
But they can't do anything else. That's all they're good at. And we're going to teach them a lesson.
Oh! Yeah, man. We gonna teach them a lesson. And that is why they're scrambling. That's why they're over there going, we gotta stop this dude because we don't want to learn that lesson. That lesson right there is coming. Oh boy. So hey y'all, all right, do you think the 14th Amendment's gonna work? Y'all unsure? Y'all okay, wait a minute. Okay, how we doing, Jack Smith? How we doing, Jack in the Box? Come on, Jack. Don't let us down. And then we come to Fat Fanny, y'all. Oh, man. Fat Fanny right there is the one that they are riding in on. Because, see, that's a state charge, you know. It ain't a federal one. So they're hoping that, man, come on, Fanny, this is the one we can use to put this man in jail. You can't be out there letting all your dirt, you know, just be out in the middle of the street, Fanny. Because Fanny, she couldn't contain it. Which most Democrats, see, you want the big high-profile cases when it comes down to corruption and collusion with your own party and stuff like that, going after the big fish, Trump. But they never stop to realize how dirty they are, how much corruption and collusion they have to do in order to pull this kind of crap off. Like nobody is going to look into it. Nobody's going to be a little suspicious that all of these indictments just start popping up from these local prosecutors and special counsel and all of that stuff. And yet they want us to believe there was no coordination with the White House, no collusion with the DOJ. Nah, every time we say, come on, y'all, you saying that Fat Fanny woke up all by herself and just decided, you know what I'm going to do? I think I should look at RICO charges for Trump. You telling me that LaQuisha James or whatever, Queen Latifah, you telling me that out of nowhere, she's worse than Fat Fanny. She was out there telling everybody, I'm going to go after Trump. For what? Everything. You're telling me there was no coordination. You're telling me that Jack Smith, just because out of nowhere he decided, I think I should go ahead and, all of these raggedy behind charges, you know they were all coordinated by the White House, the DOJ, and these raggedy behind J6 committee people. We know that. Now it's starting to come out that Fat Fanny also met with the White House. She met with Camilla Harris and her lover, y'all. Now, if you're not up on the room, come here, y'all. Come here. Okay, maybe I ain't heard the rumor, but word on the street is Fat Fanny hired her lover, okay, to go after Trump as a special prosecutor. Paid him all that money. Then was out there going on trips and stuff with the money she was paying him, okay? Now, I ain't want to gossip, but I'm just letting y'all know because y'all like Fanny. Then not to mention, y'all. Now his wife is mad. She's asking Fat Fanny to come in and testify. Now Fat Fanny and her lover never came out and said, "No, that ain't true. These are lies. Them there is just rumors. They never came out and said that. They ain't denied nothing yet, y'all. They ain't denied nothing, okay? But here's where the kipper is. Not only that, y'all, but her lover is unqualified. But for some reason, he gets the gig. He gets the gig. And then records have it that her lover, went up to the White House twice. Met with them twice before all of these charges was brought down on Trump. Which, to me, I got to question some things. Could it be that those meetings that he billed Fat Fanny for was so he can go ahead and get all the information he needed from them to go after Biden's political opponent, which would show that Biden indeed is using the DOJ and all of these prosecutors to weaponize them to go after Trump? Could it be that? Could it be that? That's just me thinking out loud. But you ain't hear from me. So let's go ahead and see how Fat Fanny responds, y'all, to all these rumors. She went up into the church. Now, what kind of church? This is my question. What kind of church would let this raggedy behind broad come up? I had to go back on that one. An old school term, broad. What kind of church would allow this raggedy behind broad to come up in their pulpit and use their pulpit for a sermon about herself to try to justify why she shouldn't be on the bubble in regards to her lover, in regards to all of this stuff? What church does this, man? Boy. So let's go ahead and hear Fat Fanny get in the pulpit to preach her raggedy sermon. Unbelievable.
Dear God, I do not want to be like those that attack me. I never want to be a Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Now, off grip. You have desecrated the pulpit. Desecrated it, man. Y'all didn't stop for 1 second to think that, hey, okay, man, this chick, she just most likely had an affair with this woman's husband. Most likely. Okay. Most likely is corrupt. Paid this dude all this money. Who's the pastor? Nobody did any type of check on her. Nobody said, look here, sister, until this is all settled, we can't have you in our pulpit, using our pulpit to come out and run interference for your stinking ways. Now here she is. What sermon have you ever heard where somebody comes up and starts naming other people? Just straight come up like, I didn't want to be a Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, I'm thinking the pastor needs to be spanked for this one, man. You got to protect the flock. But you let a politician come up here and desecrate the whole pulpit. So now here she comes up here using it to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, in the pulpit.
Who has never met me, but has allowed her spirit to be filled with hate.
Like this woman got discernment to know that Marjorie Taylor Greene's spirit is filled with hate. Or could it be that Marjorie Taylor Greene has enough discernment to know that you are a corrupt prosecutor? Could it be that? But yet what you're going to do is get in there and lie in the pulpit, man, in the church. That goes to show how evil this woman is, man. How corrupt this woman is. How shameless she is. Now, I ain't gonna go easy on her with this one, man. It's unreal that they let her get up there. But what's even crazier, she is doing this and really look confident. She's like, man, I don't care, I'm in a pulpit. Usually, if you're in a pulpit and you know you're raggedy, you are humble. You're scared that God might just strike you down. You're watching what you say. You're sitting up there going, God have mercy on me. Lord, I shouldn't even be allowed to speak on behalf of your name. But she's not there to speak on behalf of Jesus' name. She's there to speak on behalf of Fat Fanny's name. And the people in there, they have been taught something by this pastor that is not allowing them to see how foul what is taking place is. So now here she is bringing up Marjorie Taylor Greene, misplacing the blame.
How does this woman, who has the honor of being a leader in my state, how is it that she has not reached out to me? She can tell me, I don't agree with anything you're doing, but I do not agree with people threatening your life or the life of your family. That is conduct that is wrong and intolerable, and as a leader, I shall not stand for it.
As a leader, I shall not stand for it. This is, when I saw this, I was like, okay, wait. Is she just up there saying hello to the people? Oh, she called a text? She's out there preaching about herself and Marjorie Taylor Greene? This is, I mean, who's the pastor? I mean, I would bounce out of that church so quickly. So now here she is talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene should be more concerned about Fat Fanny's death threats and stuff like that. Why should Marjorie Taylor Greene be concerned about that? Do you expect Marge to call you up and say, hey, girl, I don't agree with nothing you've been saying and doing, but I'm going to let you know I feel for you in regards to these death threats. Marjorie Taylor Greene ain't sending the threats. Marjorie Taylor Greene most likely got her own death threats because, you know, they labeled her everything under the sun. So what are you talking about? How about you eat your medicine, Fanny? Yeah, you made the bed, lay in it. So now here she is talking about death threats. That's what they go to. She's about to try to use this church and this platform like all Democrats do. Joe Biden ran up in one last week. Hillary Clinton was in one 15 years ago. They always do this crap. Run up in there and then got the nerve to start using the pulpit to use identity politics, to go off and point the finger at all of their political opponents and stuff like that. Nothing about Jesus. This text ain't got nothing to do. Nothing to do with the Bible. Nothing. This is the book of Fat Fanny right here that we're listening to. Open to the book of Fat Fanny, chapter 1, verse 3.
How did such a woman come to think that it was normal and normalized that another woman was worthy of such cruelty?
How did such a woman come to be in a pulpit talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene after you got these accusations of being with this dude when he was married? Just bunny hopped right over that. Let's see, here's the crazy thing about this, y'all. Look, as a Christian, you call balls and strikes, even if you're guilty of it. For everybody got some problems, okay? It would be one thing if, okay, here you are, you get busted, you had an affair, okay, Fat Fanny. So let God deal with you. But what Fat Fanny chooses to do is protect her Fat Fanny by going into the church, getting up there, and going after Marjorie Taylor Greene and questioning, what kind of woman is this? What that does is it shines the whole spotlight on what kind of woman you are. So instead of you going in a corner somewhere and saying, Lord, forgive me for what I did, what you do is come out and say, what kind of woman is Marjorie Taylor Greene? For pointing out my corruption. I'm not even here in this pulpit to come out and make a confession that, yeah, I was messing with this dude when he was married. My bad. I'm here to say it's Marjorie Taylor Greene that got the problem. Now, I'm telling you, man, she has a fanny on her to go out and do this one, man. Oh, boy, I'm telling you, I would be sliding away from her like, ooh. See, sin is sin, and you might have some problems. But to be this arrogant and this bold, usually when you know you're dirty, you walk around a little quiet and hoping that a piano don't fall on you while you're in your mess. Hoping that, you don't walk out in front of a bus while you got all this mess on you. But her, she chooses to go in like she is squeaky clean into a church. And once again, I blame the church, but let's finish hearing from the book of Fanny.
I would never wish for her to have the experiences of the threats that I received.
I guess she thinks that Marjorie Taylor Greene gets none of that. That's what she thinks. I mean, they spend so much of their time trying to make Marjorie Taylor Greene seem like she's the worst woman on the planet. You don't think that comes with all kind of threats, name calling, all of that mess? And here she is. I would never. See, I'm the righteous one. I'm the victim here. Somebody says smells like shite. Yeah, and she took that shite right up in the church. Right up in the church, man. See, they go out and they pick watered down churches to visit. Anytime you let a politician come in and use your pulpit for stuff like this, your church is watered down. They're not going to go into a real Bible-fearing, church that does it by the letter. Because they would discern this so quick. You would smell this corruption and evil coming a mile away. So they didn't pick the church that is more about just being a social, group. We belong to a church, and look at it. We got a lot of black folks and a lot of members. But You got to be compromised somewhere. If you can't pick up on the fact that this woman is preaching a full-blown sermon about herself and a PR campaign and stunt to try to cover up for her garbage.
The derogatory name calling, the being doxxed multiple times. But dear God, are you listening? Why does Commissioner Thorne and so many others question my decision in a special counsel? Lord, you're flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect child.
You hear her try to slide that in, y'all? Just in case it comes out that all of this stuff is true. Lord, you're flawed and imperfect child. Now let me get back to my sermon about me and my lover. She's about to try to preach her lover out of judgment and herself. So now here she is talking about, God, I ask, why would whoever this guy is, question me about picking a special prosecutor? Now, what she's going to do is not mention who that special prosecutor is to her. You ready for some garbage that I said? I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. The boldness of this woman is fascinating. Listen to this sermon.
I'm a little confused.
I'm a little confused.
I appointed 3 special counselors. Is my right to do?
I appointed 3 special councilmen. Is my right to do.
Paid them all the same hourly rate?
Paid them all the same hourly rate, but that doesn't mean that I gave them all the same hours. I gave my raggedy lover 24 hours straight without a pee break. That's what I gave him, and it was great. We almost was late to get on that dang gone boat and go to Hawaii. That's what I'm... So now you're saying you paid them all the same rate, but look at all the time. Look at all the time that this dude was spending, going up to the White House and stuff like that. Let's finish hearing this because she's trying to make it seem like she's now being singled out. See, she just picked 3 random dang on prosecutors. She paid them all the same rate. They trying to make it seem like I show favoritism to everybody. Wait a minute, not to everybody, but to him. So let's just see why these people might have a problem with Fat Fanny's choices. Here we go.
They only attacked one. I hired one white woman, a good personal friend and great lawyer.
See, there it is, y'all. I heard a white person too. Okay, here it comes, y'all. You know what is coming. Racism.
A superstar, I tell you. I hired one white man, brilliant, my friend, and a great lawyer.
Great lawyer.
And I hired one black man.
One black man.
Another superstar, a great friend, and a great lawyer.
Oh, wait, you forgot something. And a great lover? Is that what you said? And a great lover? Can you believe this chick? Just jumped right over that important bit of information that made him different from the rest of the people that she hired. This chick just straight up put him in a regular general category. I hired a white woman, I hired a white man, and I hired a black man. He's a great lawyer. He's a great employee. He's a great what? Continue. He's also a great what? But watch, this chick goes straight up in the pulpit, man. Skip right over that.
Oh, Lord, they gonna be mad when I call them out on this nonsense.
Now, she is bringing God into this. I'm telling you, I'd have an umbrella in the church over me like, oh, God, I'm telling you, it's going to start raining in here. Oh, Lord, they're going to be mad over me after I expose this nonsense. Man, I got to give it to her, man. She must not fear any type of consequences from God at all. Bringing him into this. So now here she is talking about, oh, God, they're going to be mad at me for exposing. Could it be that maybe God exposed your nonsense? Could it be that all of the choices you've been making, Fat Fanny, and the corruption you've been participating in has been exposed? But instead of sucking it up and going somewhere and sitting down, what do? Come out and say, God, I'm about to expose their nonsense. She got some big ones, man. She got some big ones. So she's going to expose their nonsense after tiptoeing right on over the fact that this dude was more to her than just a good lawyer.
First thing they say, oh, she gonna play the race card now.
What? Thank you, sure enough. What? She gonna play the race card now, and that's exactly what she's about to do. And yet gonna tell you that I'm not playing the race card. Y'all ready for this, y'all?
But no, God.
No, God.
Isn't it them who's playing the race card when they only question one?
See, now it is mumbo jumbo like that.
It is mumbo jumbo like that to give the pulpit a bad name. Come on, Fat Fanny. I got some real for your butt and these hands. And it should be some anointed oil that the old church mothers should be laying all over Fat Fanny's head. Mess up that raggedy hairdo with oil. Somebody go get the white sheet to throw over her as we lay her out onto the floor talking about come out. Nowhere in the world she should be in somebody's pulpit talking about some. No, they're going to say that I'm about to use the race card. No, it is them that use the race card. And I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, I'm almost stunned by this appearance and this effort for her to come out here and try this garbage, man. So let's see how they're using the race card, y'all.
Isn't it them playing the race card when they constantly think, I need someone from some other jurisdiction in some other state to tell me how to do a job I've been doing almost 30 years?
Oh, yeah. It's them that's using the race card. See, because they telling me that I ain't doing my job right. It's them that's using the race card. The fact that they only pointed out one out of the three that I chose. See? But yet you and your raggedy, nasty, evil butt. I mean, she's as evil as they come, y'all. I mean, I got to put her up there with Nasty and Hillary for her to take advantage of the black church. And I'm sick of black churches allowing these sorry behind Democrats to come in here and desecrate the pulpit like this. So here she goes running to the church to try to say, nope, I'm not using the race card. They used it by pointing out the one person to go after just because what? That person was black? Because that person was a man? Or could it be because that person was my secret lover who I started kicking it with while he was married, then use your money to pay this guy to go after Trump, knowing he ain't qualified, sending him up there to Washington twice, then going on trips with this. So could it be that? But nope. She gonna say y'all use the race card. This is fast. Like this should be some type of study just to find out the brain of evilness. I'm like, wow, this is really, really evil. Really evil. So let's continue.
Wasn't it them that attacked this lawyer of impeccable credentials? The black man I chose has been a judge more than 10 years.
The black man I chose has been a judge more than 10 years and an impeccable record. The black man I chose was my secret boyfriend who was married. I'm telling you, man. I'm surprised somebody ain't getting up and rebuke her. Then again, she wouldn't even be in the pulpit. That's my point. She shouldn't even be up there. See, she went up into a friendly church, a church that lacks any type of discernment, a church that's okay with politics being inserted in the church and allowing her to use it as a PR platform to run interference for her corrupt, nasty behavior. Boy, this one right here, man. But it's fascinating to watch, man. I got to give it to her. She's like, man, I am going for this. I ain't got no choice.
Run a private practice more than 20. Represented businesses in civil litigation. I ain't done, y'all. Now she's preaching a sermon about her boyfriend, trying to run cover for her lover, trying to make him seem like he's a target simply because he's black, not because I paid this dude almost $1 million and I knew he was my lover. She ain't even talking about that. She is not going to mention that fact one time. Served as a prosecutor, a criminal defense lawyer, special assistant attorney general, one Chief Justice Robert Benham.
One lover to you?
State Bar of Georgia. You know, they ain't just giving this to black men.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Thank you, Jim Kelly. She does come right out of a comic book as an evil villain. She got to be one of the most evil. Now, if she's evil enough to do this, you don't think that this woman would be above meeting and colluding with Kamala Harris in the White House? You don't think she would be above that? Mm-hmm. This shows so much about her character. I mean, there is probably nothing. When you do something like this, there's nothing you wouldn't say. I mean, there's no lie you won't tell. This woman just got in there and used God, talking about, Lord, okay, Lord, they're going to be mad that I'm about to expose this one. When you get to this level, your lying is on a whole nother level. Your conscience is blew out. You don't have one. This woman is getting up in a pulpit with a straight face and preaching about her boyfriend and trying to make him seem like he's good to go and he's being a target because he's just black. Nothing about our love affair. None about that.
How come God, the same black man I hired, was acceptable when a Republican in another county hired him and paid him twice the rate? Because
he didn't hire him as his lover, you dodo bird. So look, I hope if this goes to court or something, whoever is going to be cross-examining her, I hope they use this footage right here. I hope they be like, this is what you said in a church one time, where you got up there and said, well, how come these people, when they hired him, it was acceptable? You're overlooking the main point. You hired your lover, your boyfriend, who was married, and paid him, and then you benefited off of it. This is crazy. She's bold, man. She's bold.
Oh, y'all ain't hear me.
Oh, they're gonna try. Y'all ain't hear me.
In another county, the elected official has the authority to pay him twice the rate. Why is the white male Republican's judgment good enough, but the black female Democrats not?
Because you are corrupt, you nasty, stinking douchebag, dirtbag, snagger-tooth, full of hot air, pus-filled, gangrene, infested maggot running all through your veins and out your nasty snake tongue, having fat fanny you. This is unreal. Here she is. Why is the black man? Boy, I tell you. Now, see, I don't want nobody to buzz hell wide open, including myself. I hope Fat Fanny repents at some point in her life. We all need to repent. But boy, I'm going, man, for you to get in there, and I forgot dumpster juice too, for you to get up there and boldly, y'all don't hear me? I mean, she is straight using the church to push this garbage right here. The race card. And look at the people.
Now, please hear me. I'm not criticizing his judgment. The people of his county elected him to make that decision. In fact, let me put it on the record. He's someone I respect because he was always willing to hire diversity. He was just looking for quality.
Now, see, and here's the crazy part. I'm thinking to myself, at what point do these folks in church stop and say, what does this have to do with Jesus? What does this have to do with the Bible? At what point do the pastors say, what does this have to do with what are they going to take away from this? When they walk out of that church, are they going to feel like I'm closer to God? Or I got a word from on heaven, from on high? What they're going to walk out feeling is that we just let a raggedy, corrupt politician come in here and then use the fact that we're black, for one, to try to garnish support from us, to push the race card and the race narrative. And if they are completely idiots, they're going to walk out thinking that she's innocent and she's being targeted because she's black. They don't realize that they're being full-blown manipulated by her and the devil. Because the devil, sure enough, is speaking through her. You could best believe that. She ain't mentioned Jesus once. Didn't quote a scripture, nothing. Just went straight into, here's what I'm preaching. It's all about Fanny and my boyfriend. We're both victims.
I don't care political party. They care about it. My only question is, why is it questioning me?
Because you're corrupt, Fat Fanny. Because you hired your boyfriend knowing that he was your boyfriend / lover and got busted.
Lord, now I want to be clear.
Lord.
All 3 of these special counselors are superstars.
Who are you preaching to? Are you telling this to God? Lord, I want to be clear. Man, how do you do it, man? How do you do it? Oh, boy, she's a bold one. So here she is. Lord, I want to be clear. You were straight lie. Are you telling this to God? Because if that's the case, you're about to full-blown lie to him. Full-blown lie.
But I'm just asking God.
Yeah.
Is it that some will never see a black man as qualified, no matter his achievements? What more can one achieve? The other two have never been judges, but no one questions their credentials.
Do you see what she's trying to do? She is trying to bail this dude out. Trying to bail him out over the pulpit. Preaching a sermon about him like he's some type of apostle. She didn't mention John said, and then there was Enoch. And he was walked with God and then was not. He was taken, and then it was Elisha who called down fire from heaven. And there was Paul who was taken up to the third heaven, and John the Revelator. And then there was Peter who said, Lord, I will never, ever forsake you. And then on when the cock crowed 3 times, she ain't talking about them. She's preaching a sermon of her lover, the apostle of whoever this guy is. It's unreal that she's trying to preach him out of trouble.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
All the glory I receive, it's his grace, not a perfect me.
There you go. See, you always got to slide that in after all the lies and stuff. All I'm now is all about God's grace. God knows my heart. I'm a flawed character. A flawed character would recognize that by not getting up in the pulpit and trying to cover her own garbage by using the church and all of these black folks to do it. And they let her do it.
We are at a time in history, people. Hear me on this. We are at a time in history
where the church allows filthy, stinking politicians like you to get right up in their pulpit and preach yourself and your lover's self out of trouble and use their pulpit as a place to market some darn identity politics, do some race baiting, cover up all of this garbage. See, that's where we're at. When a church can't recognize that you are stinking and should be on somebody's floor face down asking for forgiveness, but instead they put you in the pulpit to get up there and preach this garbage. That's where we're at. When the church can't recognize that. So I don't know what you're talking about, but of course, her ideal is that we're at a place where fat Fani shouldn't be attacked and that they're threatening my life. And I ain't do nothing. All I did was hire a black man who was overqualified. And they just going after because he's black and going after me because I'm a black woman.
When you can no longer sit back and just let other folks do it.
Okay, wait, let's hear it. Here comes the punchline.
Expect black women to be perfect and save the world.
You cannot expect black women to be perfect and save the world. Let me make sure I heard that right. Did she just say what I thought she said, y'all? Did she just say that? Hold on.
Sit back and just let other folks do it.
What did she just say?
You cannot expect black women to be perfect and save the world.
Have we ever been in a time in our history where we expected black women to be perfect and save the world? So now she's saying we're in a time, we're in a point in our life in history. Like this was a norm before. It was a norm before. We always expected black women to be perfect and save the world. But now all of a sudden, we're in a time where we can't expect black women to be perfect and save the world, which is indirectly saying that I am a perfect black woman who is trying to save the world and they're coming against me. That's the moment where everybody should go out and pick up a big glob of mud and throw it on her. She just holified herself. I'm holy. I'm sanctified amongst you all. That's what I am. She straight came out there talking about perfect black woman trying to save the world. That's all I'm doing. Trying to stop the world from Hitler taking over. From Mussolini running over us all, y'all. Stopping this evil, nasty, stinking Donald Trump, who's a white racist xenophobe. Not me, who is now possibly being accused of, wrecking this man's household and corruption, hiring him and all of this stuff. Yeah, see, I'm a perfect black woman and I'm the victim. She's the worst. I mean, that might have, she might not have the longevity and history of evil that Nasty Pelosi and Hillary Clinton have. And without knowing all of the garbage that they've done in their private life, because I'm sure behind closed doors, they probably done some things way worse than her. But the fact that she came out and got in that pulpit and is saying the things that she's saying lets me know that she has not one bit of a conscience anywhere. Not one bit. She does not respect God, even in my worst. Even when I didn't believe in the Bible, I would be scared to do any of this right here. I was like, man, I ain't gonna get out there saying stuff like that, man. I might not believe in the Bible, man, but for some reason that don't sit well in my stomach. And what does she do? Get up there and preach a sermon about herself, being perfect and saving the world. And her boyfriend / lover is a target because he's black and he's great. He's great too.
The Lord is completing us. We are not perfect. We need your prayer.
Okay, now all of a sudden, the Lord is still working on us. We're not perfect to offset all of the statements that I just made. All of the stuff that I said, look, man, I'm not guilty of none of this stuff. I'm just being targeted because I'm black and a woman and he's black.
Be allowed to stumble. We need grace. With that kind of support, we will move mountains and do Jesus' will.
Tonight, the judge.
Jesus' will. With that type of grace. So now here she is. She wants Grace to continue with this false, fake prosecution. She wants Grace to continue trying to destroy our republic by politicizing the DOJ. That's what she wants. She wants Grace to go after the political opponent of Joe Biden, who's leading in the polls, the one guy who is most likely going to stand in the way of what's about to come upon America, and most likely would be the person God uses to plug that up, if he will, to give us real grace as Americans. Yeah, here you are talking about, I want more grace to continue doing that so I can get my raggedy globalist friends in power by stopping Trump, continue with the uniparty, continue moving us towards a one world government, continue having a blue open border, continue targeting our kids, continue all of the horrific, ungodly policies that the Democrats push into society. Let's continue that. We want more of that. And the church didn't even recognize that's the person they stuck up there. But let's close with CNN's assessment about what's going on with Fat Fanny, because, you know, they were banking on Fat Fanny closing the deal and stopping Trump. But now they got to address these accusations. And let's see how they do as we close. About 3 minutes left.
Judge in Donald Trump's Georgia election case scheduling a hearing on allegations that District Attorney Fani Willis is romantically involved with the lead prosecutor in the case, a man named Nathan Wade. At issue is whether the money she paid Wade for working on the case was then used to fund their lavish vacations together. One of Trump's lawyers raised the issue earlier today, making it the first time these allegations were brought up in a courtroom. Neither Willis or Wade have responded to the allegations so far, but of course, Trump has long tried to discredit Willis, and this raises major questions about whether he will be successful. Ryan
tried to discredit her. She discredited herself. Now, here's my thing. If somebody was spreading a rumor about you, you know how mad you would be? How quick you would come out to denounce that? Somebody said, yeah, man, I heard she's hooking up with this dude who's married, and then she paid him all this money and they went on trips. You would sprint to that mic and be like, that's a lie. I never did none of that stuff, man. Here's the proof. Not to mention, I ain't even going on no trips. None of that mess. See, maybe if she would have came out and said all of that, and showed the evidence, then went into the church talking about I've been targeted for no reason, they lying on me. Okay. But you ain't did that. You didn't say nothing.
Goodman's with me, our out front legal expert. So what do you take away from all this?
So I think the allegations at this point are unsubstantiated in part, like the core of the allegation. But at the same time, Fani Willis has not denied them either. And in fact, the Washington Post right now has a headline blazing.
Now you see, they're trying to balance it. They're unsubstantiated right now, but at the same time, she hasn't denied them. You see what they do? Thank you, Charlie Brown. You express the sentiments of us all when I hear this kind of crap. So now we got to still hang on to the narrative, because Fanny was, you know, she was the go-to. So now we can't overlook this stuff. So we got to try to somehow come out there and say, okay, there's no real evidence, but at the same time, she didn't deny it. Isn't that like something that makes you feel a little suspicious about the validity of these accusations? Mr. Legal panelist, specialist, here we go.
Says Georgia prosecutors remain silent days after explosive allegations. Yeah. So I think it's a problem. And if the allegations do bear out, then it's an even more serious problem.
Right. Oh, and that's what CNN's scared of. Because now here he is talking about, well, yeah, ain't no evidence right now, but she hasn't denied it. And if it does come out that these accusations are true, it's a serious problem. Now, you know, this CNN commentator is probably going, oh, okay, how can we try to clean this up and not make our viewers see this woman as the corrupt, stinking prosecutor she is?
So this is not the first time Willis's best judgment has been called into question, right? She had attended a fundraiser during her investigation into Trump's election interference, and the fundraiser was for a Democrat running against one of the targets of the investigations, right? So that had already happened, and now you have this. Does her record, if this does bear out, right? And as you point out, they've been silent, so there's a real question marks tonight. Would this disqualify her from prosecuting the case?
Okay, here we
go.
go.
I don't think that it necessarily implicates the case itself. That would be a very high burden to show that there's a conflict of a certain sort. And that
what? You see, they're legal analysts. I don't think it affects the case itself. There'll be a high burden to show that. Are you kidding me? I mean, you telling me this doesn't affect the case? It would be a high burden that time. So wait, you're meeting with folks who ran against Trump, or ran against, I forget what that person was, but you meet with somebody who obviously creates a conflict of interest. Then you're also meeting up there at the White House with Kamala Harris for some reason. And then we find out that you're also sending your lover who you paid and didn't go through the proper channels to even pay him to go after Trump. Yeah, that guy you're sending up to the White House. Twice. And this guy's trying to say, I don't see how that would impact the case.
It should have to be taken off the case or something like that. But a separate question might still be, independently, just forget about the case. Should there be disciplinary measures taken? What about misconduct? Just in terms of if the allegations are true and she acted this way as the district attorney. And then that still has blowback implications for the case.
You see the double talk? This guy right here? He's up there sitting back talking about something out there that shouldn't impact the case. But at the same time, if she's accused of these things and it's true, then it could indirectly impact the case. That's what they're trying to save. They're trying to save the case. They're trying to save face for the case. Yeah, even if they have to throw Fat Fanny under the bus, which I don't know what kind of bus she could get thrown under and blow out all the wheels. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, but nonetheless, here he is talking about the case should be protected, but she might be in trouble. But the case is, if she's corrupt and evil and did all of this stuff, that obviously lets you know that she's probably in collusion with other evil actors. All the stuff she's been saying, I ain't do nothing. When they're asking her to show all of the records of her White House communications and her communication with the J6 people, and she's telling them, we ain't giving you nothing. We ain't giving up no subpoenas. We ain't honor no subpoenas, none of that stuff. All of that stuff, as we've been watching throughout this whole time, that lends to her character. Yeah, now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that, yeah, all of this corruption, however, her efforts to go after Trump in the RICO case is legit. That's not tainted. That's as pure and innocent as everything. Just like, Queen Latifah up there in New York. Yeah. All of that evidence of you online saying how you're going to go after Trump for all of these things. Now we're supposed to believe that your motives to go after Trump was pure. There you go. Yeah, you just got a revelation in the middle of the night that Trump's businesses might have been overpriced.
Indirectly, but not directly.
There's the public perception, which is what all this ultimately, even though, of course, I know we say a court of law is about, right, in this political cycle and Trump's allegations of persecution. House Republicans announced they're investigating the allegations, which, of course, is no surprise. But they have a specific concern. They have several, but one of them.
Okay, now this is the big one, y'all. Because remember, guys, CNN and MSNBC and all of them are always swearing that there's no evidence of any interaction with the White House, no collusion with the White House, no communication with the White House, none of that. Because you remember, Trump's been saying that the DOJ in the Biden administration has weaponized all of these people to come after him. They want us to believe that all of these individual prosecutors all decided on their own without any consultation with the White House or the J6 committee, all decided on their own. Then I think, you know what, there's enough evidence out there for us to go after Trump. Not relying on any evidence being given to them by the J6 committee. None of that. So this right here will destroy this whole case if it comes out that these people been colluding with the White House. And it will show that the Biden administration is actually colluding with them and weaponized them to go after Trump. So now she got to go ahead and try to run interference for that. And listen to this skinny little nasty worm right here that says this stupidity.
Ryan, is meetings that Nathan Wade had with the Biden White House counsel's office. They're raising the question of why would he have been meeting with the Biden White House counsel's office if the inference being if there's not political interference in this case.
Question.
Is this a legitimate concern?
It would be a legitimate concern if there's political machinations going on and it's a political people that they're meeting with at the White House, but it doesn't look like that. All we have is a line that says the prosecutor Wade is meeting with the White House counsel's lawyers. And if he weren't meeting with them, I'd actually think that's maybe a problem. Like, aren't you doing your job?
So you think...
What kind of spin? Oh, man, I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy because of the spin on that one. Yeah, in fact, he wouldn't be doing his job if he wouldn't have went up there and met with them. All he's doing is meeting with the council, the members and stuff like that, and just talking about, what? What are they talking about? You believe this mess?
I think it would make sense in his role, if none of these allegations are true, he were just the lead prosecutor, this meeting would make sense.
Absolutely. He needs to speak to the White House to ask them, are they going to invoke executive privilege? Can I speak to the former White House chief of staff? Can I speak to the former White House counsel for Trump? And then what's your legal position going to be if we reach out to them? He has to ask those questions. I don't think on its face there's anything there. Not even yet. I don't even think that's like a smoking gun or something or smoke that might be fire. As it stands, that paper trail, that's not a paper trail. It's obvious that would have to take place in a certain sense.
Right.
I hope that CNN become born again as a good media.
Since we're talking about church, thank you, Kaiva. I hope that CNN becomes born again as a good media. Did you hear what they actually said? Well, actually, it's a good thing that he went up there and met with them twice. So the stuff that you just mentioned, you couldn't make a phone call. You go up there and then build for 24 hours on one of those. I guess you got up there and y'all just sat in legal counsel talking for 24 hours. We sat in the one room for 24 hours. I was asking lots of questions. There you go. The stuff that he just mentioned could be handled over the phone. So you make 2 trips in person all the way up there to meet with the White House, I guess, legal counsel, which I'm sure there was some folks in that legal counsel that weren't just lawyers. I'm sure that some evil actors participated in that. And maybe that's why you want to do it in person. You didn't want to leave, phone logs and things like that. So you take your raggedy butt all the way up there twice. While that guy on CNN got the nerve to be talking about, I would be more concerned if he didn't go up there to meet with these people. I mean, look, he got to ask questions about what he can ask and who he can. The stuff that he mentioned, simple. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think 2 trips up to the White House, one of them in which you build for 24 hours straight, I'm thinking, you didn't even make it look believable? All right, 8 hours, then we went to sleep, we took a break. Then there was travel time. You're making it seem like you just got up there and started the clock, and 24 hours later, y'all were done. 24 hours later, twice. And billed Fat Fanny for that money, along with going out with Fat Fanny. Nobody knew about it. Along with traveling and enjoying yourself with Fat Fanny. And then she goes up into the church and try to preach you and her out of trouble. And then CNN tries to get you out of trouble by saying, hey, there's nothing to see here. These logs mean nothing. And this and that. So Kaiva solved it. Kaiva at the end of my show, she wrapped it up by saying, hey, I hope CNN is born again as a good media, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've been turned over to a reprobate mind. There it is. CNN has a reprobate mind, along with MSNBC. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Good grief. Good grief. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw Fanny out there and I put together them clips, I was like this is This is extraordinary. This is fascinating. I felt like Dr. Spock. Fascinating. I was just amazed that somebody would have the gonads to go right up into the church and try to pull off that garbage. She did it. She tried it. You're like, I don't care. I'm in trouble. And I'm going to go right in here and try to say it's because of white nationalism, racism, and all that other stuff, not because of my corruption. And then try to get God's stamp of approval. Like, you got my back on this one, Jesus? You got my back on this one? Okay, all right. Yeah, okay, so God told me that my corruption means nothing. Yeah, my fanny ain't that fat. And everybody got a little fat fanny in them. So judge not, lest you be judged. If your fanny got a little jiggle and wiggle, you're just as guilty as me and all of that mess. Yeah, try to pull that crap off, but not here in Kev's Corner. Dang on it. So thanks for kicking it with me tonight. Thanks for waiting on me. Finish the game. A little half an hour. I guess now I got to sit back and watch the NFL go on without my squad. I'm assuming they did lose, right? I didn't pull the parachute too early, did I? Come to find out, this was the most spectacular comeback ever in the last. I'll be going, what the? But as far as I know, they lost. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that. Now, as we close, don't forget, text MAGA to 330-974-4607. Also, Gizmo's going to get a haircut. Just keep you informed. So he will be making his cameo appearance pretty soon after he get groomed. He don't want to be on TV looking all, all raggedy and stuff. Yeah, so check out the merch store because there are Gizmo products in there too. So, I mean, you can always go in there if you really love Gizmo and get you a little shirt with Gizmo on it or whatever you want. All right, so check out that. And then, once again, if you can't support the channel, there's a link right below this video. It's my monthly fundraiser link. You can always give to that. That definitely will support the channel and allow me to keep functioning and putting together rich material without having to go out and work on the jackhammer. Because I'll do it. I'll do it if I have to. I'll work that jackhammer. I'll get into the coal mines like Derek Zoolander. I think I'm getting the black lung pop. Merman. Yeah, there you go. So I'll do it if I have to. But I would prefer to be able to focus on what I do as long as I can. And I wish YouTube could get off my back. If they're giving y'all any problems, let me know. And we'll go from there. Follow me on all the other social media platforms. And even though my Rumble haven't been uploading all of these videos, still subscribe because I'm going to start uploading videos onto that. And tonight I will also be dumping some standalone videos onto this channel. So keep your ears posted just in case you don't get a notification. Other than that, we'll see you tomorrow, my normal time, 7 until whenever I get finished. I'll just start saying that. To whenever I get finished. And let me check and see what the Iowa caucus and all of that stuff has rendered. I know that's going on. And somebody, thank you, Don. Stop and think about it. My alternative channel. Please subscribe to that so I can crack 1,000 and we can start doing some live streams over there too. So see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Talk to y'all tomorrow. God bless. Unbelievable. Good grief. Thank you, by the way. All of y'all.
This is awesome.
What? Yeah. Tear up the place, yeah. See y'all tomorrow. Take care.